Google Stadia is great. I don't know what's up everybody else's butt, but I think it's a fantastic platform with a lot of potential, and it runs great. It's not exactly ready for the mainstream, and I don't know if I would recommend the $130 Founders Edition to anybody. Okay, maybe they shouldn't have released this so early. But after spending a whole day with it, I seriously think it will fulfill the gaming needs of a lot of people in ways that are really exciting. You know, just eventually. So Google Stadia is Google's streaming platform, meaning that the game is running on one of Google's servers somewhere, so you don't need a big honking gaming PC to play the latest releases. Contrary to what you might think and what's being said out there, it is not a subscription service. Although it can be. Right now, it's only available as the $130 Founders Edition. I'm going to tell you right off the bat, don't get this. It's not worth it. The Founders Edition comes with the controller, a USB-A to USB-C cable, and a power brick for the controller. A Chromecast Ultra, which is capable of 4K streaming, and a power cable for that Chromecast Ultra, which also has a little Ethernet jack built into it. Okay, confession time, I actually already unboxed this during Wulff Den Live last week. Ooh, I like the color.
That is a nice color.
I actually forgot that this thing came with a Chromecast Ultra. Literally the same day that I opened the box, I purchased a Chromecast Ultra for my new apartment. So that will be going right back to Amazon. But that's not all that the Founders Edition comes with. It also comes with 3 months of a Stadia Pro subscription. That's their subscription service that allows you to stream games at 4K, 60 frames per second. It also gives you a free copy of Destiny 2, and it also gives you PlayStation Plus-like discounts in their store. That's right, you do have to buy each game individually. Most of the big stuff is gonna be $60. Red Dead Redemption 2 is still $60 in that store. So this subscription fee is not gonna cover the cost of big budget games. A Chromecast Ultra is usually $70, so you're really paying $60 for a controller and a 3-month subscription to Stadia Pro, which is usually $10 a month. When you sign up for that free 3-month subscription, it actually requires you to put in a credit card number so that it can bill you at the end of the 3 months. You can cancel this, but the way they word it, it looks like you're gonna lose all of your Stadia Pro services if you hit that cancel button, and I don't wanna risk losing all that before this video is done. Oh my God, why? Sure, other platforms require you to put in your credit card information when you're getting promotional pricing on their services, but I've never seen one require credit card information for a free bundle of time. That seems a little bit invasive, don't you think? This controller is awesome though. First of all, the D-pad is in the right spot, so props to you, Google. It feels pretty much exactly like an Xbox controller, except the left thumbstick and D-pad are swapped. The D-pad is clicky like the Xbox One D-pad. The thumbsticks feel identical to the Xbox One thumbsticks. Even the shoulder buttons feel the same. They're just made out of a matte plastic instead of glossy. The face buttons respond in the same clicky way, but again, they're matte instead of glossy. The controller is an important addition. It connects to your Wi-Fi so that it doesn't have to waste latency going through your Chromecast. It just sends your inputs straight to the server. That is very smart. Again, this controller is great. Setting up the Stadia was a little bit more complicated than I would have hoped from a company like Google. I mean, their router is the easiest thing in the world to set up, so I would have hoped a consumer product like this would be a piece of cake. All you have to do is plug the Chromecast into your TV or monitor along with the power cable. It should automatically turn on. Then you need the Google Home app on your phone. Connect it to your Wi-Fi using that. Then you need the Stadia app to get the controller working. Your Pro subscription will not be a code in the box like any normal company would do. It's going to be an email that they'll send to you. You type that code in, then you should be good to go. The cool thing about having Destiny on here is that it has cross-save. So I was able to pick up from the save file that I last left off 2 years ago from my PlayStation account. This is done on Bungie's website, and it's super easy to do. Good on you, Bungie. I was initially unimpressed by the load times. Seemed pretty on par with PlayStation, which is a disappointment, considering this should be running off of some super server at Google somewhere. But then I realized I didn't have to download or install anything. The game just started. Try doing that on your PlayStation. I once needed to wait 2 hours for my Call of Duty to update 2 days in a row. All right, while this prepares an update for the next 10 years, I'm gonna go grab a donut. Those updates are horrible. The game also runs fantastic. I'm not sure what the latency is, but it's not noticeable in the slightest. I fell right into the game, forgetting that I'm playing on a freaking little tiny Chromecast, which got very hot after my first play session. Poor little guy. I didn't have any problems at all during my gameplay. Granted, my Wi-Fi speeds are pretty great. I was disconnected twice in my first play session. The first time I was idling for like maybe 45 seconds, and the second time I was in a menu. So it wasn't dropped mid-gameplay or anything. It didn't happen again after that, but it did take an obnoxiously long time for the controller to reconnect. And I mean, I've been idling for like, what, a half an hour now? And we're all good. You can connect the Chromecast via Ethernet, but I didn't want to do that. I wanted to test the Chromecast under normal circumstances, and that kind of just felt like cheating. I did attempt to connect the Chromecast to my phone's hotspot to really test this thing out, but that did not work. It refused to connect. So if you intend to connect your Chromecast to your phone as a hotspot, you can just forget about it. That's also a really dumb idea anyway. But I was able to connect my computer, and we'll talk about that later. In terms of visuals, it doesn't look the best. The Chromecast is outputting 4K, and since it has HDCP enabled, I wasn't able to bypass it and get a clean 4K capture out of it, but I was able to get 1080p capture out of it. My monitor was reading a 4K signal, so I can see the 4K. You just can't see the 4K. The problem is that sites are reporting that this is not the 4K version of Destiny, and I have to agree because it doesn't really look like 4K. That's a huge bummer if you're paying for the Stadia Pro just to get 4K gameplay. It could be that this straight up isn't a 4K version of Destiny 2, or maybe the video compression is so harsh that it's crushing the image. Digital Foundry has a great breakdown of this. They have proof that Red Dead Redemption 2 isn't the 4K version and that it's running at most 1440p. However, Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the 4K version. Here's the thing about that. Even on the PS4 Pro and Xbox One X, not every game is going to be 4K, and even the ones that they say are 4K might just be upscaled to 4K. They might not be natively 4K. On the PS4 Pro, if you have HDR enabled, then none of your games are true 4K because the image is subsampled to compensate for the HDR signal. So, everyone saying that Google is lying about their 4K has to also be mad at all of the other console manufacturers because just like the rest, it can go up to 4K. If you're here because you want the best image possible for your gaming experience, then why the hell are you getting a Google Stadia? Go get an Xbox One X or take out another loan on your house to get a gaming PC or something. I don't know how that works. The draw here is that the barrier to entry is really low and it's so easy to just pick up and play. Think about it like a Nintendo Switch. You're losing a lot of visual fidelity, but you're gaining a lot of ease of use. You don't have to use this on a Chromecast either. You can use this in your Chrome web browser on your computer, which I think is a much more practical scenario for most people. It's so easy to just pick up and play on your PC. Just go to stadia.google.com and log in. That's it. You can just start playing right there. I did get a lot more artifacting at first. It took a while to get the frame rate to be consistent, and there was significantly more artifacting when playing with a mouse and keyboard, for some reason. Moving around with the mouse also had some weird jitter to it, but it performed significantly better with the controller, which you must connect via a wire. Wireless isn't supported yet, which is also a bummer. Are you starting to get the feeling that this whole thing is unfinished? Because the whole thing's unfinished. But despite the minor hiccups, it ran pretty great in my web browser, which I think is how most people are going to be experiencing Stadia. It also ran excellent on my dual-core MacBook Pro. This is not a gaming device by any means, so I was shocked that this worked as well as it did. I also don't know why the screen's yellow. That's just how my camera recorded it. It didn't look yellow with my own eyeballs. I was also able to connect my MacBook to my phone's hotspot with a cool 3.9 megabits down and 1.5 up. And honestly, it was playable. There were frame dips and the resolution scaled every so often, but it was a playable experience. You definitely should not rely on this connection, but if you're in a bind, let's say Xur has that hand cannon you want and you're far away from a stable Wi-Fi connection for the weekend, this will do. Here's the thing. The major selling point that I neglected to tell you and I've been saving up this whole time is that Stadia is gonna be but free. You'll only be able to get 1080p out of it, but the 4K sucks anyway, so who cares? Imagine back to when you were a kid. Let's say you just got done with a shift pushing carts at Target, and you have just enough money for a game, but you don't have enough money for that $300 brand new console to play that game on. Why save up for that $300 console plus the game when you can drop that $60 right now into your Chrome web browser and start playing instantly? Old Bob would have loved that instead of pirating PC games. Oh boy, oh Jesus. And I hear you saying to yourself, Psh, I'm just gonna play it on my Xbox or my gaming PC. Well, let me just shut up for a second. Not everybody is as privileged as us. Not everybody has all of these options. Sometimes all you have to work with is a 4-year-old MacBook. I've been there. When you're desperate, gaming's still gotta happen. Remember back in the day when you had games on your TI-89 calculator? That's the type of desperation that I'm talking about. There you go. It took me like 45 minutes to get kicked out. All right. The only looming problem here might be Project xCloud, which is Microsoft's streaming service. It's going to be a subscription model, and we don't know how much it's going to be yet, but it will include a vast games library. I'm gonna guess it's gonna be pretty similar to their Game Pass service. That's a much better deal. It just depends on what people are gonna gravitate towards. Are they gonna want a free service with piecemeal games, or are they gonna want a subscription service with a vast games library? All you people who want Virtual Console back for your piecemeal games better not be on Microsoft's side, you hypocrites. Anyway, we don't even know if the new AAA stuff is going to be included with Project xCloud, but they've been pretty good on their Game Pass service with including some exclusive AAA games, so it'll probably be like that. Also, part of their next generation pipeline is going to be a streaming service, so you bet your ass they're going to lean into that. Whether you like it or not, I think that game streaming services are going to be in our future. They won't be mandatory. Even Microsoft is rumored to be having 2 consoles, one that's mostly streaming and one that's going to be like the Xbox One X of the generation. So if you like physical consoles, stick to physical consoles. I know I will be, but this is really exciting for people who might not have the latest and greatest consoles, or maybe they just want to play on their MacBooks at work or at school or something. Oh, and the other looming problem is if you have bad internet, then you could just forget about this whole thing. Just go out and buy an Xbox on Black Friday or something. So what do you guys think about Google Stadia? Is it something that you're excited about? Do you have a specific use case for it? Do you fit that niche? Or are you like everyone else and you think it's stupid and it should go away? Just because it's not for you doesn't mean that there's not an audience for it. I think it's cool. I'm not gonna play it after this unless there's exclusive games for it. This controller though is one of the best controllers I've ever used. If they ever put something like freaking Death Stranding on here, you know how great that would have been when I was in Japan? I could have played freaking Death Stranding from here. Anyway, we got new videos and live streams all the time. Our schedule is usually in a pinned tweet over on our Twitter. We got Wulff Den live every single Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern time here on YouTube. And we got Twitch streams over on twitch.tv/WulffDen. I'm going to be playing Pokemon over there for a long time. And if you support us here on YouTube or over on Twitch, you can do so for free. If you have Amazon Prime, you link it to Twitch. Twitch Prime is free. You link those accounts to your Discord account. You get into our supporter-only Discord. You get to chat with us. you get to play multiplayer games with us at least once a month, and you get videos like this one early. But of course, the most important thing that you can do to help us out, and the easiest, is just subscribe here. Thank you very much. Share this video with a friend who might be thinking about getting Google Stadia. Maybe they've been talking about it. Maybe they're excited about it, or maybe they're trashing it. Who cares? Just send it to them anyway. Thank you very much. Have a good week. Goodbye.